Hi guys, we'll be starting shortly. We're just waiting on a couple more people. Hey guys, yeah, we'll wait for another 5 minutes for Aydin. If he doesn't show up, then we may have to cancel the session. But yeah.
He said that he is having some technical difficulties to join. He should be right in.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Ah, perfect. Sorry about that. I was having some technical difficulties. My internet went out there for a while. All right. So,
Yeah,
let
no
me.
worries. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'd like to introduce Aydin Goksel, who will be talking about the psychology of digital marketing. In a digital world, digital marketing is the key to success for many companies. Aydin has years of experience as a digital marketer and web specialist. He is well versed in the tricks websites use to draw consumers in. So, without further ado, welcome Aydin.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I've been in this industry for 10 years now. Kind of done everything from social media to content marketing, but these days, and kind of over my career, um, the most critical part of marketing for me that I enjoy is the psychology, what makes people make the decisions they do, and what makes them buy the things they buy when they do it. And I actually, the technologies that I use day to day to kind of predict and create the most optimal experiences for users and visitors are actually the same tools that I enjoy in my day-to-day life, because they're the same kind of tools and devices that bring you, for example, bands that the algorithm thinks you might like, or movies that you might like that you may not know. But it's essentially those algorithms are kind of using the uh, same basic concepts as a lot of what marketers use in regards to demographic and behavioral targeting. So before I get too deep into that, let me share my screen. I have a, let's see. And at any point, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I think you can raise your hand using the emojis. And if I don't see someone's question, if you guys could let me know, that'd be great, because when I share my screen, I will be unable to kind of see Zoom. All right. Let's see. I think it's sharing only the small window. Okay, there we go. There we are. All right, so, well, here we have Rodin's thinker, and a small quote. We remember what we understand only what we pay attention to. We pay attention to what we want. And I feel like this motto fits perfectly well when you're in digital marketing, and specifically creating optimal experiences for people to enjoy your services or website online. So the human brain, I think it's a marvel. It's 1.3 kilograms of cortical proteins and fat that makes us make everyday decisions, like what to eat for lunch or solving complex problems at school or work. So for me, to kind of understand customers' decisions or even predict their future actions, we first need to understand how they think. While research has been done in this area for the past 50, 60 years, it was Daniel Kahneman, a world-renowned psychologist and winner of the Nobel Prize and leading behavioral economist, who popularized the idea that we have a dual processing brain. And you might have heard about this. Also, Thinking Fast and Slow is a book in which he describes this phenomenon. I would highly recommend you read it. So this dual processing brain, you've probably heard of it, right? The left versus right brain? Yes? No? Just kidding. That is a myth, and it's been proven to be a myth. At this point, we realize that our brain has so many different sections that work interdependently and interconnectedly, and it's just not separated by left and right hemisphere. But we do have two modes of thinking. The first mode of thinking in our dual processing brain is fast thinking. This is the oldest system in the brain. They're guessing it's about 600 million years old. It's based on intuition, your emotions, your habits, prejudices, and heuristics. It's outside of your consciousness. You have no idea what's going on in there when decisions are being made. And since it's completely automatic, doesn't really need our input, and processes incredible amounts of information with little to no effort on your behalf. This is the part of our brain that allows us to kind of get through day to day. Otherwise, it would be too much information for us to consume. And the second thinking mode that we have in our brain is slow, or system 2. This is pretty new system. They're estimating that it appeared during the cognitive revolution. This is the conscious, rational, systematic, and logical brain, or the system. And it uses scarce mental energy, the very little mental energy it has, to control the impulses of system 1. So I have a little clip. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but essentially in this clip, we are going to be watching these individuals pass a basketball back and forth. Now, I want you all to count how many times the basketballs were passed. You just have to follow one basketball is fine. If you can follow 2, that's even better. And once the video is over, I would like you to write in chat and kind of tell us how many times you saw the ball that you picked pass. Yeah, wearing the white shirts. All right, how many passes did you guys count? Feel free to type it in chat, if any. All right, we have 16 from Kasim. Ryan says 13. Matthew says 11. Oh, Matthew, look at that. There was a monkey guy. All right. Well, the correct answer was 15 passes. So all of you were pretty correct. But from the responses, it seems one person noticed the gorilla. And I kind of gave it away because I couldn't help but chuckle when it came on the screen. But how many of you actually saw the gorilla while you were counting the passes between the players? Okay, Kasim saw it. And so did Matthew. Well, don't feel bad if you haven't, because what was happening while we were watching that video, and it happens to me every time I watch it too, is while we are trying to process how many times the balls were passed between the players wearing white, our system 2 was activated. We were actively paying attention and deliberately using our energy to focus on one task. And that is why we didn't notice the gorilla, because our attention was activating our system 2, and that is the one thing that we were focusing on. So what does it all mean? Well, we are mostly AFK, it appears. So our conscious system is absent when we make most of our decisions, though it's nice enough to give us the illusion that we are in control. The second thing it means is hindsight is 20/20. And this is how the slow thinking system makes us think that we're in control, by post-decision rationalizing. If it wasn't involved in the decision, maybe it was just like I said, AFK, away from the keyboard, or depleted, so completely exhausted, it will make up reasons for why you did that thing after the decision has already been made. And the third part is it has a very short battery life. The system 2 gets quickly depleted, and we start having difficulty with executive function. That's why we make more rational decisions in the morning and more emotional ones at the end of the day. They found, for example, that jury members who drank a glass of lemonade during their lunch break, while they're attending their jury duty, were more likely to give positive and innocent claims over guilty than those who did not have lemonade with sugar. So sugar is a quick way to give a little energy to our system too, apparently. So this means, well, taking this into consideration and taking into what I believe marketing is, I believe good marketing means providing your customers and visitors with relevant and authentic content that brings them value. If the marketing campaign or your landing page or website doesn't resonate with your visitor, they're not going to be motivated to convert. So the first three questions that everybody kind of like thinks about when they think about marketing, and these are pretty good, first question to start off with is, who is our user? 2, how did they get to our website and from where? And 3, what do they want and why? These questions kind of allow you to capture the authenticity and relevancy. These questions alone will help you understand this and actually make huge ways towards understanding the psychology of your customers. But there are 3 additional questions. Why did they choose us? Why did they nearly not choose us? And where might the users be falling out of the process? So what made that individual whose demographic or perhaps like background or behavioral patterns you realize choose you and not a competitor? And if they did choose you, if they decided to leave your website at some point or stop engaging with your content, where did they stop doing that? The second thing to create successful conversions is behavioral targeting. The biggest thing that I would say that affects conversions is the psychological concept of friction. And friction is the switching between system 1 and system 2. So if I were to ask you, how old are you? You would be able to use system 1 immediately without even thinking really that's what they need, without even thinking that's system 1. You'd be able to tell me your name. But if I were to say, all right, guys, multiply 78 times 16 and write your number in the chat, immediately your brain there's like literally a sensation of friction that you feel as you switch from system 1 to system 2, as your brain kind of halts its systems or halts its processes and kind of switches focus. That's the friction, and that's the point where the system 2 starts using its energy. And it's that feeling of, I don't really want to. That feeling, that's the friction. That's your brain not wanting to go to system 2. So how do you reduce it? Well, using behavioral targeting and understanding the questions that we asked before, you can reduce this before the user even lands on the website. So a user's browser, how they land on our page, and the device they use tells us a lot about the user, and this information can be used to customize their experience accordingly. That is how you create relevant and authentic content that they will want to engage with. And if you understand further details like geography and demographics, like for example, what video games do they like? Do they prefer RPGs or FPSs? For example, in our case at HyperX, understanding these points of friction, potential points of friction, and alleviating them before they even interact with your content is a good way to set yourself up for success. The offer. A lot of times when we're starting a new project, the first thing that I ask is, what are we asking from the user? What is the goal? How much time, motivation, or action do we require from their side? And how much are they willing to commit of those to achieve what they want? So we need to take into consideration the amount of friction for the goal, the call to action, and the incentive or the offer provided to overcome that friction to reach the goal. Another core element of the psychology behind conversion is urgency. At this point, we're all immune to gimmicks like, hurry, this offer will close within the next 12 hours. When it comes to urgency, free content for about the past 10 years, everybody was providing a free PDF guide, just a small exchange of your email address. Well, at this point in time, nobody is reading those. Even if they are interested in the content and they sign up, chances are they're not going to actually engage with your content beyond that point. So it's better to create a natural sense of urgency by using limits that make sense for the product. Here is a tie back to relevancy again. authenticity, and relevancy. So for example, if you're selling a product, showcasing the number of products available works because it is relevant. When it is out, it is out. And it's not creating an artificial restraint. And users, that system one that we spoke about that functions on intuition and habits and prejudice and understandings, that system one can pick up a lot of these kind of, I would say, inauthentic bids towards attention. That's why when you see a particular advertisement, you might feel somehow like turned off by it and want to change the channel, or and some advertisements you'll actually sit and watch. Well, the ones where you sat and watched, not only did they understand the relevancy and the context in targeting you, but there was also a sense of authenticity that they captured that allow you to continue seeing the advertisement. Perception. That's what it all kind of really is about. The systems 1 and 2, like what we know of that is, it means that most of our behavior is based on our perceived reality instead of the actual reality. If the system 2 is retroactively creating reasons as to why system 1 made X or Y decision, that means that we kind of create our reality based on how we perceive it. And a user or visitor's perception of your brand, of your website, of your application, of your portfolio, if you're building a portfolio to get a job, for example, it starts when they first click the link to your page. So how fast does it load? How easy it is to use? Is it enjoyable to use? Does it provide a good, complete experience for what you want out of there? Are you able to find everything that you're interested in? Are you able to find something that you didn't know you were interested in, but that has now brought you joy? The perception that you creates an anchor in your mind. Since the system 1 is an association-based neural network, the anchors you create, or, as they used to say, first impressions make everything. Well, first impressions are the only ones that really count. That's the concept of anchoring. So the user's perception of you in terms of your authenticity, the sense of trust that they get when they visit your website, and sense of consistency, these all create anchors and define how they will continue to interact with your brand moving forward. Usability. That is chances, misspelled, are that your visitor will be impatient. So making sure that your website provides a good user experience is critical. So understanding the time and exact information it will take your user to make their decision will help you create the most optimal experience. Again, this is a lot of front-loaded work before you even begin to build a landing page or a website that's going to deliver a good experience. There's a lot of research that needs to be done beforehand, and understanding of your customer before you make the first minimal viable product. But then from there, you can improve on it. The more data that you collect as you continue to understand the time and the commitment that it's going to take for the user to make the decision, you can continue to make improvements on it. So I have a mobile screenshot of booking.com on here, and I kind of looking at some of the tenets and the pillars of like what in human psychology affects a user's decision to convert. Does anyone want to tell me, just by looking at this, kind of like what they see from it, if they notice anything? Anyone?
They include the urgency where it says only 2 rooms left at the price.
Yep, awesome. And notice that actually is the only red color text on the page. One thing to note, a lot of people you'll hear a lot of people talking about, font colors or button colors, like, oh, red, orange, and like fighting over that. It's not the color that matters. It's about the attention. And since it's the only red font other than the notification on your profile icon at the top, that's the first thing you notice. And it's at the top. So that is a great way to kind of draw attention to that option. Do you all notice anything else other than the urgency? Do you see a call to action? Anyone? Something like book now or pay for this room, anything like that? Anything related to even booking at the hotel? Does it even show that you can book at this place? Somebody texted something. The discounted price. Matthew, yeah, the discounted price, exactly. Not only do they kind of create an anchor for you, saying, hey, this is normally at $179, they kind of create that, by creating that anchor, they kind of create that perception in your mind of, oh, this is a good value. It makes it easy for you to not think about it. You can see at a glance that that's a steal. That looks like a great deal. And yeah, compared to the second option, which immediately goes to 409. So there's also definitely something like there's another aspect of anchoring there that you can see when you compare the the first option with the second one and the variation between them. So I'm gonna say something. The only call to action on this on this page is explore beaches. That is the only call to action. This is a place where people can look up like how to rent hotel rooms for their vacation, right? So you would think, get this, book this room, or sign up for this room, or book now. You think those would be the call to action? No, it's explore beaches, and it allow you to explore beaches in the area. This is because they understand which system is involved when you're looking at a website like booking.com. And can anyone guess which system it is? Is it system 1 or system 2? And if you need a refresher, I can go back a few slides too. Anyone? All right, last chance. Okay, so it's actually system 1. It's the emotional part of your brain. It's the unconscious part of your brain. So it's system 1. We know that. System 1, the large images. What does system 1 want? You want to explore the beaches. You want to experience these things in life. These are emotions and feelings, and those large images kind of help you understand that. There's no calls to action other than explore beaches and beaches in the area. This tells you that they have a really good understanding of their users, because system 2 is thinking about the logistics of buying the plane ticket, getting on the plane, preparing your luggage, going there, and where you're going to eat and what you're going to do. System 1 doesn't think about any of that. System 1 wants to see beautiful beaches, like palm trees. The system 1 just wants to have fun, essentially. That's why this is entirely kind of positioned towards that. The sense of urgency was the first thing that we noticed. Thank you to, I think it was, who said, sorry, I didn't see who said it. Easy, I think, said it. The sense of urgency, the trust badges. So showing that, for example, the Moana Surfrider is a travel sustainable property. Another trust badge is the amount of reviews that these places have. And actually, I wasn't able to get a screenshot of this, but if you scroll down on this page, after about 15 to 20 seconds, there's a pop-up. Now, regularly, everyone is just like, when they see a pop-up, they automatically close it, right? Well, I do that too. But on a page like this, on a landing page like this, where the goal is based off of making sure that the user has to think very little about making this decision, the pop-up actually helps increase conversions. The pop-up talks about actually how by signing up for their email, you can get a discount for the Waikiki Monarch Hotel. Well, why did they specifically have that pop up when it did and with that specific hotel? Well, that hotel was, according to the filter and everything that we said, the perfect choice for the user. They understand the user is engaged in the website, in the page, because they scrolled a certain percentage of the way down. And also, they are, it's very likely that, since the first result that they saw was Waikiki Monarch Hotel, that created such a strong anchor in their mind that if you provide the discount for that, when it's already discounted from 179, it's going to be a very easy decision for someone to click that right arrow. It's not even a purchase button, it's just a right arrow. Now, there's a lot of different and interesting tools that we can use in addition to behavioral targeting when it comes to understanding the psychology behind customer behavior and user behavior as well. So when I mentioned that the in this previous one, the pop-up only propped up after a certain amount of time. That's what it appears like on the front end. And there are pop-ups that actually function on based on how much time you've spent on the website. Or for example, if there is an exit intent, the page realizes you're about to navigate away from the page. It understands that you should have made a decision by that time. So it'll create a pop-up to keep you on the page or make a decision. Unlike that, what this one used was a scroll depth. How far along the content did this individual travel down? And they haven't made a decision yet. So you can actually set this tool up. This is actually a screenshot from our website. You can set up a tool like this. This isn't actual like data. I just put this in Procreate, but the idea is that as you collect data from your customers, the relevant customers that interact with your website, and you've created an authentic experience for them, you begin to understand where their attention and their focus lies. So the red part of this, and this is a scroll depth map, or another name for it is a heat map. The red showing that, I would say the red is where about 90% of our users have seen that, or your visitors have seen that. And if you keep scrolling down, the area where it gets like yellow and green and like right next to the cloud alpha around that area, that's about 60% of your audience has reached that point. And all the way at the bottom, the blues, that's like 5%, 10%. And you're actually going to see this behavior across all demographics, across all users across the world, in that the scroll depth always just is correlation is that 80% of your visitors will only see 20% of your website. So keeping that in mind, it's important to put the most critical aspects that are going to help you create that authenticity, that value to your visitors, need to be in an area where they're going to be able to see it, right? Make it easy for them to find it. Another thing that you can understand when you look at heat maps or data like this is people's behavior in terms of how they navigate with their mice through the website. Using completely randomized and anonymous detail, these tools, these heat map tools, also allow us to kind of capture information on, again, movement patterns of like people's mice. So you can see exactly where they're more likely to go, where they're more interested. Let me see. So just look, I know the image is a little bit small, but just looking at this page, does anyone want to make a guess as to what the most clicked on area is, potentially? or the number one or number two clicked interacted with function on this page, if anybody wants to make a guess. Anyone? Well, I'll give you a hint. 80% of users still, online users still use a search engine in order to find what they're looking for. So actually, one of the most common used and interacted with features on almost any website is that little magnifying glass, the search bar. People don't want to go by, like categories or products, even though we think that that's what we like. We think that we want to refine by and use those filters on the left-hand side, but we don't, because that uses a lot of energy. And System 2 has only very limited energy to make the decision to make that purchase. So that's why we use the search function. And here is a sample of kind of like what user behavior is like. So you can see where people's attentions are much more concentrated, what they interact with mostly. And also from this, you can also kind of get a better understanding of what your users are interested in more, those specific users. You can use different software that are integrated together in order to extrapolate this data and really create the most optimal experience for your user, where if you do your job well as a good digital marketer, after the user completes that call to action or makes that purchase, they should feel good. The System 1 and System 2 should feel good at the end of it. And that's the experience that I enjoy having on websites and when I interact with brands. And that's the experience that I want to share with others when I build landing pages or create marketing campaigns. Yeah, so it's about delivering high quality, relevant, authentic content to your customers with an understanding of what they want and how much thinking are they willing to do in order to achieve what they want. Thank you. So I figured I'd leave some time for questions in case anybody has any thoughts, or if you've seen any, like for example, if you read any articles, you had questions about any experiments that might have been done regarding psychology, feel free to write it in the chat. You don't have to open your mic to say it. If you just type it into the chat, I'll be happy to answer it. Okay. Well, I actually have, if nobody has any questions, we can, adjourn. But I do have kind of like another little experiment that I want to do with you all regarding Systems 1 and Systems 2. Okay, so I used to have 2 dogs, and one of them was a boy. What are the chances that the other was also a boy? Does anyone want to guess?
50%.
That is a good answer, but it is actually an automated, it's the answer to an automated question that was created by System 1. So while the question was, what are the chances that the other is a boy? System 1 heard, what is the general chance of having a boy or a girl, which is 50%. Right? So even in day-to-day interactions that we have like that, the System 2 is completely absent. Because while it is true that you're either going to have a boy dog or a girl dog, doesn't mean that there's a 50% probability, or like there's a 50% probability that my other dog also would happen to be a boy dog. another interesting experiment that they did is they asked one group to remember the number 39 and the other group to remember really crazy number like 3,850,269 or something. And while these two groups were asked to remember the numbers that were assigned to them, they were asked to choose a reward. They could choose one, a chocolate cake, or a fruit salad. Which dessert do you all think that the number 39 group picked most? Well, ooh, Kasim said cake. All right. Well, interestingly enough, the 39 group only chose the chocolate cake about 30% of the time, because even though they were craving the cake, they had enough system 2 capacity to control their impulses from eating chocolate cake, because chocolate cake, high in calories, is delicious, but it's also high in sugar. But they were able to kind of control themselves and not be like, yep, I want to slice that cake, that looks delicious. And they were able to choose like, oh, it would be nice to eat cake, but it would be healthier if I ate the fruit salad. The group that was assigned 3,852,000, oh boy, 70% of them went for the chocolate cake, and just, no hesitation at all, like chocolate cake. They actually were saying chocolate cake or fruit salad. System 2 people were, or the 3 million group were immediately answering, oh, chocolate cake. And that's because they had less system 2 capacity to make the decision that might have been the rational one. Doesn't mean it's not the decision that they didn't want to make, but it's the one that they wanted to make emotionally. And then afterwards, they'll say, oh, the system 2 will go back and retroactively change it based on kind of how they felt about it. Like, oh yeah, actually I haven't eaten chocolate cake in a while, that's kind of why I wanted it, or I had a pretty light breakfast, so I'm kind of rewarding myself with this, or whatever reasoning that it might create after the decision has been made. So all right, well, any other questions, thoughts, comments? Like, just any questions. Like if you have maybe like a side project that you're working on, or you're wondering about how to get into all of this, maybe first steps of how you can start, like go into data analytics or web analytics. I can talk a little bit about that. We have 10 minutes left, if anyone is interested in that.
Looks like we don't really have any other questions, but thank you so much, Aydin. I don't know about everyone else, but I personally have learned so much from the presentation, and I think I will definitely be using some of the things that I learned today. For our attendees, you can all definitely use these things to your advantage when creating projects, and I'm really excited to see how you guys will do that going forwards. Thank you again, Aydin. This presentation was absolutely amazing. And yeah, for the rest of the people, they can return to continue working on projects, and we'll see you in about an hour for our next presentation at 5. See you guys.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.